95% of our life, this is a fact, comes from those programs in the subconscious. Every day, only about 5% of their life are you using conscious, which is creative. 5%. The movie The Matrix is not science fiction. It's a documentary. Every human, and this is a fact, every human first 7 years is download, hypnosis. 95% of our life is coming from the programs of life, how to live life that we get in the first 7 years of life. And that's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich, because the programming. A child below 7 has a lower vibration than consciousness. It's called theta. Theta is imagination. Oh, that's how kids play a tea party with mud pies, but to them it's a real thing. A kid rides a broom, it's a horse. That's theta, imagination. Theta is also hypnosis. And the idea is this: before you can become conscious, if you don't have any programs, what are you going to be conscious of? What kind of programs are required to live on this planet? I say, how do you get them? So nature makes the first 7 years, you just watch. You watch your parents, you watch your siblings, and your community, because you have to learn how many 100,000 rules, think about it. Just to be a functional member of a family and a functional member of a community, there are rules. Teach an infant these rules. I say, oh, you don't have to. First 7 years, they observe it and just download it. Theta is hypnosis. This is the unfortunate fact. 95% of our life comes from those programs in the subconscious. Every day, only about 5% of their life are you using conscious, which is creative. And you don't see it because it's called subconscious, below conscious. The Jesuits, for 400 years, they were boasting. People didn't understand. They say, give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man. They've been saying that for 400 years because they knew 7 years was the program period. And 95% of your life after that will be whatever that program is.
You have been programmed to not think for yourself. And if you have a strong reaction to that statement, then it only confirms that this is true. Most of the responses that we have to everyday life and the decisions that we make are not our own. They are programs that run automatically in the background of our lives via our limitless subconscious minds. And you can learn to create new programs of your choosing once you understand how this works. And I'll discuss that in this video. We learn early on in life to instinctively seek approval and often only follow what others have taught us to do. When we are young children, we are moving through life unconsciously and living from our inner world, as Dr. Bruce Lipton just stated. And then we begin to learn more about this physical life from our authority figures, peers, environment, and surroundings. In other words, the outer world begins to imprint itself upon us. We learn what is deemed as acceptable and what is not acceptable, and not all of this is a bad thing. However, the consequences of learning what some in our environment may deem as acceptable, such as how much money a person can create, or how a person should live, or the types of relationships that we should maintain, might not be in alignment with what we truly want for ourselves as adults. Those consequences come in the form of approval or reward, and on the other end of the spectrum, disapproval or punishment. When a child doesn't conform to the expectation of others, the disapproval commences. This can cause a child to feel the intense emotions of being unloved, unhappy, or even guilty for wanting what they want. Those intense emotions are registered and recorded by the subconscious mind. And because these types of feelings don't feel so great, a child instinctually learns to mold their behavior to be in alignment with winning the approval of others by thinking like them, behaving like them, and eventually believing like them. Where social learning is concerned, our brains literally reward us for following what others do. So ultimately, a child can become programmed to conform and be like others through this process. Social conformity is an invisible force that affects how we think, what we do, and how we manifest our lives, because our brains naturally seek out peace, ease, approval, and synchronicity. Watch this experiment to see how this can carry on into our adult lives.
We set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her, except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do? She's now conforming to the rules of the group without them even being there.
Now watch what happens when they introduce another outsider who doesn't know how the rules of this waiting room work.
And they'll be out in just a couple minutes.
Great,
thanks so much.
Why are you standing?
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do? We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived. And slowly but surely, what began as a random rule for this woman has now become the social norm for everyone in this waiting room. And it's why even this rebel, who wasn't standing for any of this nonsense, eventually joined the ranks. And the only thing more shocking than seeing how easily conformity affects the way you act is that similar forces are subconsciously shaping the way you think right now.
Unfortunately, through this process, we can learn things from others that create programs within us that aren't always accurate or helpful, or that can even be detrimental to the things that we truly want from life. And this doesn't always happen because someone intended malice towards us, but merely because that's the program that they learned when they were younger. It's a cyclical process. Because of this, society or the outer world is often more interested in telling us what to think rather than how to think. We don't learn to question what we learned. And then this causes a sense of unhappiness because you're following what others wanted for you rather than what you truly want for yourself. So how do we recognize these programs? By our responses to life. Anything that causes us to react in an emotional way is a program. This is why I said at the beginning of this video that if you have a strong reaction to hearing that you're programmed, it will only confirm that your programming is true. These programs reside on the subconscious plane, and they respond faster to life than our conscious minds can process. In other words, our thinking, behaving, and acting is often automatic in nature rather than conscious, because it resides on a subconscious level. But you can use the same natural programming mechanism within you to manifest your life in very deliberate ways. You only need to consciously input new programs in the place of any old programs that are blocking your success. Here's Dr. Lipton again explaining how to reprogram your subconscious mind.
The conscious mind is creative and can learn in any number of ways. Read a self-help book, go to a lecture, listen to this program, and conscious mind's going to get some awareness. And I go, yeah, but subconscious mind doesn't learn that way. I go, right, it doesn't. Subconscious mind learns in two fundamental ways naturally. Hypnosis, which is the first 7 years. And after age 7, how do you put new programs in? Repetition, practice. You want to drive a car, you didn't learn how by just getting in the seat and put the key in. You had to practice driving the car. You want to learn the alphabet. How many times did you go from A to Z? Try to go to A to Z before you can complete it. And once you completed it, you didn't have to go back and do it again. So 2 phases. You want to train the subconscious mind, hypnosis, repetition. I like the last one because there's a new phrase that's bandied about called fake it till you make it. Meaning, if you're not a happy person, I say, you want to be a happy person? Then repeat all the time, I'm happy, I'm happy. I say, well, you don't look happy or anything. You say, no, who am I talking to? By repetition, I'm talking to subconscious. If subconscious gets, I am happy, and 95% of your life comes from that subconscious, there will be a point once the subconscious got, I am happy, you don't have to say it again.
As Dr. Lipton states, hypnosis and repetition are how the subconscious mind creates our programs. We can also use hemi-syncing, which I talk about in my masterclass. There's a link to that in the video description. And once we understand how our programming drives our thinking, behavior, and daily actions, and how those things affect the outcomes that we create, and how we manifest our lives, It gives good reason to change any of those programs that keep us stuck in recreating the experiences and circumstances that we don't prefer. Because most people find that the majority of their programs do not empower them when they understand how this works, they make the decision to drop that programming and come into conscious control of their subconscious thinking. And when they do this, their entire lives change in drastic and dynamic ways, and they begin manifesting their dreams easily and effortlessly.